Hey, welcome back to the channel. And if you're serious about building a business, you will feel this loneliness too. And let me explain. All right. So, chapter one, the lonely chapter by Alex Hormozi. This is a quote from him. So, everyone start with a dream, and most of us has big aspirations for what life could be. So, some people dream of living a fancy life, some farm life, having a loving family, and then for me, it's having a successful business. And most people end up with a compromised reality of what life could be because of different reasons. And most are okay with it, and that's how it is for most people. It's pretty normal. And so if this is you or the past you, then it's okay. There's nothing wrong with wanting the normals or the stuff that most people want. And also there's nothing wrong with wanting what most people don't want. It's just, most of us have dreams and we make different decisions that take us to different directions in the thick of it. But maybe not for you. Maybe you're different. Maybe you don't want what the most people want like I do. I don't want that. And so those who follow through will feel misunderstood, regarded as unrealistic, and people don't take you seriously when you share your vision with them. They often have that awkward laugh where you can tell that they are just masking their disbelief in what you're saying, and overall it just feel lonely. And I know this feeling because it happened to me 2 years ago when I first started in this whole thing. I was even like almost like ashamed of starting it. And it wasn't because I was doing anything shady, it was just I was doing something different in my whole life. Growing up, I got acknowledged, I got, people on my side by doing the things that everyone does, not being different. Even though I was taught to be different, to do different things, to be different, and that being different is good, it's like I was being taught that, but at the same time, my parents wasn't really living into that lesson. So at times they were still against me being different. Not because they hate me or anything. It's just that that is their way of caring. And a lot of the time in the past, I shared my vision with my parents, and they would started casting doubts on me, and then they would say stuff that would convince me out of my dream. And that really held me back for a good amount of time. Over time, I just learned to not share it with people who don't really understand my vision and just keep it to myself until I can find someone who actually understand me, who actually share the same aspiration, who would cheer for me because that is something they also want, and then we can just support each other toward that dream. But it's just something I learned along the way. And it's normal to feel lonely because let me show you why. So I create this little visual. So to you, it feels like this. Before you're interested in business, everyone gets along. Everyone in your circle, your family, friends, you get along, you have similar interests. That's why you're friends, that's why you're family. But after you become interested in business, to you, it feels like everyone is still in the same circle, but decides to exclude you because you're not cool anymore. You feel lonely because you believe you should have belonged. Now, this is how it feels like to you because, like, usually it would feel something like this, right? Like, you're just going through life normally, nothing's bad's going on, and all of a sudden, you feel like people will start talking to you less. You feel like they are still in your circle because they are still the people you know, and they are still the people who you would spark conversation, share daily life stories and stuff with. So they feel like they are still in the same circle, but all of a sudden just feel kind of lonely because no one understands you anymore. So that's why you feel lonely. But to other people, it feels more like this. So remember, this is how it feels to you, right? So you feel like people are still in the same circle, but you just not belong. But to others, it feels more like this. So before you're interested in business, you have similar interest. So everyone's still in the same circle, like normal. And then after you become interested in business, it's more like now you have a new circle and everyone else is not inside anymore. So this is how it feels like to others. And immediately you can see how different it is to how you feel, because these are the people that you know the best. So if not them, then you don't really know anyone else. That's why it feels like you should have belonged, but in reality, it's more like this. And you have created this new circle of interest that other people most likely don't have. And that's why you feel alone, because you are alone. And this is what it looks like in reality. Step number one, you left your old circle to pursue new interests. In this case, it's business. So here you are. You left the old circle. And then number two, you are in the lonely chapter in the middle. So on the blue circle, it's your old friend group, the one that you left in number one. And then now you are pursuing new interests. And there is a new group of friends who are interested in business, but you haven't found them yet because it takes time to make friends. So right now you're in the middle. You don't really have any friends that have similar interests yet. So it feels lonely in the middle. And the reason why you're stuck in the middle is because you don't want to be in the old group anymore, so you left it. But at the same time, you don't have enough credits. You don't know enough people yet. You haven't talked to enough people yet to get into the new group. That's why you're not in this green circle and you're just here. And then finally, in step number three, when you stuck through this awkward, lonely middle part where you don't have anyone to talk to and you're just figuring out what to do with the business interest and where you can take it. And if you can stick through all of that middle part, then you will make it to the new group. It's easier to understand this when the interest doesn't have any life-changing utility. For example, what I mean by that is a group you play games with, sport clubs, or old friend groups from high school. So it makes sense for you to lose contact with old groups and make new friends as you shift around. So if you have graduated from high school, then most likely you won't keep contact with your old friends from high school anymore. So you lose contact with them and you make new friends along the way. And the same case apply for video games group, sport clubs, or anything else with this context of having like old friend groups and new friend groups. But when the interest has some life-changing utility, in this case, it's the business, you want to build a business and it's something much more serious. It has the potential to change your life and you really do want to make it work. So you look at it more through a logical lens and try to make everything right and not mess it up, right? And because we look at it more seriously, we magnify the problem when in reality, it's not our first time doing this. And this is why it's important for you to know this. It's not new. Since it's nothing new, you don't need to be so fearful and hesitated about starting a business, starting to build a business and starting to live into your dream, do what you really want. And it's important to know this also because you can anticipate, you can expect and prepare healthy strategies to combat this loneliness instead of giving up on your dreams and go back to your old comfort, like playing video games. So to be able to anticipate is really helpful. And yeah, that is it. On to the announcement. This is something I have been working on for months. Finally, I can tell the internet that I have put together a free community helping people who are interested in business but don't know what to sell, how to do it, or don't want to do it alone. And I have put together 39 lessons and more in the future to help you figure out what to sell. And then step-by-step instructions on how to build a complete beginner-friendly business from A to Z. Finally, inside the community, I will host weekly Q&A, have some peer support. It will either be through the Q&A channel, private DMs, or some other live events that I might put in the future. And I also have extra business insights daily. And the extra business insights will be lessons like these, the ones I'm posting on YouTube and more, but it's just easier for me to share those in the community because they are in the text form and I can just write them down and post them instead of preparing all the presentation and stuff to make the video on YouTube. And that is it. Thank you for watching, and if you like what you are seeing and you would like to see more of these contents, then click here for the latest upload.